Hey, what's up, guys? All right, this is a memory for me from my single-digit days. Okay, once again, more Charlton comics, the war comics, D-Day. They used to have, I think this comic will come out yearly. I don't remember because I only saw the reprints in the early '80s before they went tits up, right? Oh, I remember this. I remember reading it and being like, "Wow, this was not like a lot of the other war stories I've ever seen." Right? The 19 October 1967. It's basically about the Normandy invasion, but the main character was this German officer, uh, and you can see he's in love with this French woman. Uh, and then of course the invasion starts, and man, this story was one of the best stories I think they've ever had, like a war story I've ever read, in the confines of like the uh, mainstream American war comics that you have. And this is also Bill Montes, I believe, doing the art, right? Oh, Americans, go in there. Uh, right off the bat, the way that the text was almost reminiscent of a documentary style comic, or kind of what Sam Glansbit, who the writer of this would be working with shortly, what he was doing with the Dell comics, where essentially they were kind of like war documentary comics, so that you could actually have a little more realism and not have these comic book heroism in it. And right off the bat, this is brutal, right? The guys are getting chopped up. The Germans are defending, and all the dudes in the first squad are wiped out. Oh my God, I'm gonna throw up. So it's pretty gritty right off the bat. And then you get like a whole cast of characters. And the guy who's usually the tough sergeant is sort of the second to the lieutenant. Of course, you got one bar, you got two, you're a captain. You can see the guy, you better, all right, Weber, the scheme of yours better work, or I'll have your bar. You got that, Lieutenant? It's like, geez, man, you threw us into this invasion. So he takes the guys up. Like this, O'Brien, Sharkey, Sullivan, we'll throw the mix out there. And of course, the drama comes in here. I'll have your bar. What a creep. Why the heck is that skunk always biting your head off like that, Carl? Ever since his brother got killed over Germany in the B-17, he's been down my throat because of my German ancestry. But it's not just that. And then you get more of like they were rivals for the same British woman when they were in England. And then she went with him. So she wants to marry him. So the guy's like, yeah. So you get a little drama here. And by the way, I might as well give it away. This was the first comic writing job of really Franz, the guy who did what I've gone over, the Lonely War of Captain Willie Schultz, and the Iron Corporal. Make that Iron Corporal collection, come on. Now, I mean, this is stuff you'd never really seen. The Americans get it as much as the Germans, and Paul, the officer, Paul Hamel, he takes out 3 Americans by himself. This is something you see Sergeant Rock do every other panel. They actually had a German guy doing this. And the way it's written too, it's like you don't feel like any of these guys are cannon fodder, whether German or American. You feel like, yeah, this was messed up. But they got the pillbox. And anyway, it's just interesting, the story. I mean, it goes back. This French woman is like, yeah, we're getting attacked. I can't. Listen, man, I have to get back. Like you say, it's a little melodramatic, but it is nice, because when do you get to see a German character in any American war comic being the protagonist? You never see this. Anyway, it goes on. Of course, now Willie is already pushing the boundaries, so he has to. And I'm sure he's a liberal He's from Brooklyn, right? Like me. He has to show that, oh, there's the evil. Oh, we're gonna fight to the end. Oh, who's this? We will never surrender. He's like, dude, we're lost. We're like outnumbered. We're getting destroyed. He says, what? You in the SS? Oh, the old, He goes, what? Faithful until death. Das ist true bis auf dem Tod. Right? Yeah, mein Eier heißt true. Yeah. It was funny too, but this dude is a little nuanced character too. You think he's the fanatic, but evidently he was in that evil organization, the SS, and he was left or he was thrown out because I tried so hard, but I couldn't make myself to do horrible things I was required to do. It's like, all right, man. All right, so we got that in there, right? Because you're going to get some of the kids from Brooklyn not happy reading this, I'm sure. And the thing, too, man, the one thing I remember from this the most is when he comes back and he sent the sergeant out by himself with a Bangalore torpedo, right, to do it. He's like, what? Right, so the captain ordered him to go out there when he thought the crowds were sleeping. It's like, why'd you send them out? You could have waited for the weapons, the heavy weapons. There was no reason to send them out. I remember as a kid, I was like, wow, that's fucked up. Right, so this guy's like, yeah, I figured, yeah. Well, and then the dude who's usually, the sergeant's usually like the main character, my man's dead. Oh, bah, yeah, you just killed my best friend, bam. So you got the guys fighting amongst each other. It's interesting how you had the protagonists fighting fighting their own guy, literally. So now the Germans are outnumbered. They're getting. My man puts the torpedo in there. Oh, we got the Germans. Now this is what you usually see in the comic. Oh, it's the Germans. Boom, it's kaput. But again, he's like, Tom, he's dead. This guy survives. The villainous guy, who's still a nuanced dude himself, survives. Boom. You thought this guy was going to be the main protagonist. You thought this would be the hero of the story. It's actually been the German. My man gets killed 3/4 through. And the Americans then, they rush, when they see him get killed, they rush him to take him. And this dude not only kills this dude, this guy takes out the captain too. When do you get to see the Germans taking out more than one American by themselves? It's supposed to be, I thought that's against the comic rule. And now there's one guy left. Come out, crowd. Ugh. And he's like, hey, man, Q-Soul. Hey, we got all the white ethnic cannon fodder here represented. Actually, I don't think all of them, huh? He's like, no, Sarge, we have no grenades. So he's like, yeah, my man's like not gonna go out. But this dude is still alive. Now this is what really made this story poignant. The guy's dead. He's in here. IK man Q-Soul. We'll let the guinea burn him. All right. Burn him out. Burn the whole lousy place out. So now this dude who was honorable, this dude who's basically the protagonist of this story, is now going to be burned to death. Right? He tried to call out to the Americans but couldn't. They probably wouldn't hear him. Hummel's wounds didn't hurt him anymore. He lay there waiting for the third blast from the flamethrower, just thinking of Claire. He was picturing how beautiful she would look with her new dress and her hair back when the third blast came. Wow, man. As a kid, I remember I was like, wow, dude, this was different. I mean, the Japanese, the warmonger, the Japanese were they were almost like this at that level. Now here's the interesting kick of reading this, and this is what I'm saying about like reprints. I had originally read the reprint of this. I didn't know where these came from. I didn't know Charlton comics from a hole in the wall. But as a kid, it was just a comic with war in it. And what I saw was a reprint. This was the original. This was the one that came out in '67. I had seen one that came out in the early '80s. That reprint, okay, this was the last page. This was the last page, right? It was like, very much like a epilogue, like a documentary, maps, lots of text, vignettes, and that comic. This is where it ended. It said the end, and this was the last thing you saw: a German soldier dead, face down in the water. Well, apparently, that reprint left the last page out. And this I had never seen. I only saw this now. I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember this scene. Well, because they didn't include it in that. Probably, maybe they had probably lost this page. Charlton was notorious for not really being comics, ironically, which they remembered for more than anything else, was not their biggest money maker. It was an excuse to have run their printer. It's a crazy story. I had gone over it in the Willie Schultz collection video, but this page, this was the original last page, where the French girl comes out and she realized, right? Clutching the German's cap, she stood in front of the bunker, staring into the dying flames, which had consumed her beloved Paul. If only he was there to see her. She wore a dress that Paul had brought to her from Paris once, had on her finest perfume, and wore her hair back the way he liked it. And then, and mercifully, he's not going to show this woman then being, corralled and having a head shaven by the fellow French people. But yeah, this was amazing. This was the last page. I had never known. I didn't know this was the last. So anyway, really cool, really well done. Willie Franz. I hope he's all right. I know he's had health problems, and finding this, it was a real treasure, man. Brought a lot of memories back. Imagine if every guy had been like Franz, drawing these war comics. Okay? Supposedly, everyone talks about how great the Two-Fisted Tales are, which they are. But Kurtzman, with the all the Korean War stories. But then when you start going to World War II, from Kurtzman and others, you don't get a lot of this humanity for the Germans in it, or nuance. I don't know why. I can't imagine why. But having Willie Franz, who was of German descent and still liberal enough, you could get stuff like this. I remember as a kid talking to my mother watching war movies. I forgot what movie it was, but at the end, of course, the Germans were surrendering after a bunch of them were killed. And I remember my mother she goes, it's hard for me to watch these films because I feel really bad for the German soldiers. And of course, as a kid, I didn't know my family history at all. I didn't know. So now it makes a lot more sense what she was saying. How I always felt bad for the Germans in it. Well, because that was her family. Our family lost four men in that war. So anyway, but of course, I guess if you're Russian, you like that. So. All right, later.